building takes time, so it requires patience, and in some instances, it requires endurance. Proverbs 14:1 says that the wise woman builds her house, and but with her own hands, the foolish one tears hers down. So, young women entering marriages should know that they are coming in to build their homes. Years before I met my husband and got married, I was actually based in UK, London to be precise. So while I was working, I was earning some good money. I was being paid well. So I was comfortable. I was able to, shop, buy what I needed. It was a very comfortable life for me. So when it was actually time for me to return back to Nigeria and come and do my NYSC, that was actually where I met my husband during NYSC. I came in, of course, having faith and trusting in God that God will sort everything concerning me. I remember my pastor then actually praying for me and saying, praying concerning my husband and my home, my marriage and all that. So I came into Nigeria, and my husband was actually, when I was entering orientation camp, my husband was rounding up with service, so he was ahead of me. So by the time we completed service and was now considering marriage, I actually got a job before my husband. I was working in a property development company. Yes, I was working in a development company. So he got a job later with the federal government, and it was like 6 months before we got married that he got a job. So you can imagine we didn't have much, starting off. So we started looking out for a place that we wanted where we were going to stay. We found a 1-bedroom house, and it was we thought it was good enough. It had a kitchen, sitting room, 1 bedroom, and everything we needed. So now raising the money for this now was the next challenge. It was the cost of rent for this house was way beyond our budget, but God, being so faithful, came through for us. I had some savings from my previous job when I was in the UK. So I was able to add that to what my husband got later on. And so we were able to secure the house, secure a place. So it was in that house we got married, I had my first child. And when I was pregnant with my first child, we didn't have a car at the time. So we're just newlyweds, just got married, I'm pregnant. We were both transporting from the house, and we were both working in town. From the house to town, every morning going to work with the public transport, no car, and I was heavily pregnant at the point. But
wow.
We started off, So I was about to deliver. It was our neighbor. That's why it's not so much about where you live, but also pray for good neighbors. It was it was the neighbor we had at the time that drove me to the hospital with my husband. So that was just how we started off. We relied on help from others, and that for me was the early stage of our of the marriage. We were still building, but I didn't consider it a fruitless stage. God was preparing us for where He was going to take us to next, and at the point where, maybe sometimes like we need money for certain things in the house, I wouldn't just sit back and say, okay, my husband is the head of the home, let him sort it all on his own. I knew that I had marriage, knowing that I had to have that collaborative effort. And, yes, my input, I would give it to him. We had to be united, we had to work. So that was how we started off. That was our humble beginning.